Inspirational Creatives, episode 174. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you subscribe in iTunes and sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here and welcome to this special short action episode of Inspirational Creatives. This week and next, we're going to do something different for this podcast, and that's a rerun of an original short action episode from some time ago. Last week, I ran my interview chat with audio producer, writer, and one of the best-selling authors in the music industry, Bobby Owsinski. In this short action episode, and it's one of my favourites yet, I want to share with you Bobby's approach to writing, as his process may help you with any writing challenge you're facing right now, whether that's writing a blog post, a song, or a book. So with no further ado, in episode 89 and in the last episode, 173, I asked Bobby this question. Could you give me some insight as to your writing process? When you started to write more books, you got into some kind of rhythm. You built some kind of momentum. Were there some breakthroughs that you had in terms of the approach that you took towards your writing that helped you to become more prolific?
There's one major breakthrough, and it's a technique that I still use to this day, and I use it on everything. I wish I would have found this much earlier in my life because I would have been better in everything creative. But this is me. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but this is what I do. The first pass, and we'll just talk about writing. The first pass I do, it could be an article, it could be a blog post, it could be, a book, chapter of a book, could be anything. I write totally stream of consciousness. I don't try to make it too perfect. As a matter of fact, I don't worry about anything. I don't worry about anything other than getting the ideas down on paper. So if there's grammar errors, if there's spelling errors, it doesn't matter. The idea on a piece of paper, or in this case on a computer screen, is more important than anything.
So Bobby's first pass is a stream of consciousness. He gets his ideas down onto paper. Notice it's not about perfection. For instance, Bobby doesn't worry about grammar or spelling errors at this early stage. Bobby states that your ideas are more important than anything. So the first step Bobby takes is to simply capture the idea without being too perfect.
That's one of the problems that a lot of creatives have. They expect things to be too perfect too soon, and I was no exception there.
So once Bobby has recorded his ideas, he then takes a second pass.
The second pass is refining things, and that's actually putting these ideas into paragraphs, sentences and paragraphs that make sense. It's fixing the grammar. It's correcting the spelling mistakes.
So the first pass is about capturing the idea. The second pass is about refining things. This is when Bobby puts his writing into paragraphs, correcting the grammar and fixing spelling mistakes.
And then there's a third pass, and the third pass is polishing. And that third pass I'll go back through, and usually I'll find things that I could tweak and fix and make better and make more understandable.
So the third pass is about polishing, tweaking, and making things better. For Bobby, it's making the writing more understandable, although he doesn't always stop there.
I may do a fourth pass or even a fifth pass of refinement, but if I go beyond that, it just gets different. It doesn't get better.
Bobby then may take a fourth or fifth pass. If he finds himself just changing things, not necessarily improving them, then he knows it's time to publish or turn in his work.
So I've learned at that point, I turn it in, if it's to be turned in to someone.
Another point Bobby made in episode 89, which I thought was refreshing, is that each of his passes can be performed on different days.
These are all on different days, by the way. There has to be somewhat of a time period in between, for me anyway.
And this might be your key to refining a great idea, to apply a fresh perspective by evolving an idea over time. This approach has allowed Bobby to create a large volume of high-quality material.
I've found it's transportable for me, transportable to just about any kind of creative endeavor. The big thing being, most people, especially if you're not used to creating, you expect things to be too perfect too soon.
Bobby has found that this approach works for him with almost any creative endeavour. The key to this approach is not expecting things to be too perfect too soon.
It's very easy to get frustrated. If you take that away, if you say it doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't even have to be good, it just has to get your ideas down, that's far more important, because you'll find that afterwards you'll be able to go through and say, oh, okay, good, that's bad, okay, I can work with this, okay, let's fix it. Everyone will tell you, no matter what it is, except for the very few geniuses that are out there that can get things the first time, or, when you're hit with that bolt of lightning that happens, a few times in your life. Other than that, creating is hard work.
Getting your ideas down is far more important than waiting for the perfect idea to strike you. Bobby emphasizes that creativity takes effort and that capturing your ideas is the critical first step.
It does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of effort. It does take a lot of rewrites, no matter what it is you're writing. If it's a song, if it's a book, if it's, it doesn't matter what it is, it takes time. And most people expect things to be finished too soon. I was no exception, but once I learned that it does take time, if I put the time in, it's going to work out okay, then things definitely got better and got easier, and to the point where now I can crank something out fairly quickly if I had to.
And now, with Bobby's experience, he's able to write following this method without affecting the quality.
I can do it on a quality level that I'm sure is as good as anything I've ever done.
If you can spread your work out so that you can complete each pass or revision at a different time, then you can bring a fresh perspective to your original idea. So if you're eager to try Bobby's approach to writing, and by the way, you could try this for any creative endeavour, here are the steps that Bobby takes. First, the most important step, when you have an idea or you're struck with inspiration, just get your idea down. Second, fix the errors. If you're writing, for example, now is the time to put your writing into paragraphs and to fix grammar or spelling. Third, start to polish. Improve the clarity, delivery, and understanding of your idea. For the subsequent passes or revisions, continue to polish as per step 3. Bobby stops when he recognises that he's just changing things around, but not necessarily improving them. Then it's time to publish, or turn it in. Don't try to get finished too soon. And don't expect perfect ideas to come out straight off the bat. Good luck taking action today. Let me know how you get on by dropping me a note at inspirationalcreatives.com/contact. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes, where you can rate and review the show. Your review is the best way for other people to find us. I might even give you a mention. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there. To hear more of what Bobby had to say, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com and look out for episode 173.